I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, I'd like to welcome all guests. We have a good showing of guests tonight. I can't imagine why. Before we move on to citizens' request to speak, I'll accept a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I'm not even sure we can actually have a motion and vote on this because we don't have a quorum. So I guess we're going to have to just approve it as it is. We don't have a choice. So we'll move on then from item A3 to item B1. And do we have any requests to speak tonight? No. Okay. Moving along quickly. So we'll call in then with Director Ashton.
Does anybody necesita alguien traducción en español? Oh, okay.
Thank you. We're waiting for one board member to call in so we can approve consent agenda because I think people want to get paid.
Hello.
Tony.
Yeah, I just had to walk out. Sorry.
No problem. I appreciate you calling in. We're just ready to accept a motion to approve consent agenda if the board's had a chance to review that.
Okay.
Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'm making sure Tony's ready.
Are you ready, Tony?
Yep, I move to approve consent agenda.
Okay, there's been a motion by Director Ashton to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Second by Director Hilmes. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And the motion will carry 3-0. Thank you for that, Tony. Is there any other questions or anything you have for us?
No, not tonight.
Okay, thank you for calling in.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so some may know that within that consent agenda was the approval of a few important hires in our district. They are our newly hired principals. We had 3 openings, one at McFarland Middle School, one at Lutakaga Elementary, and one at Wahitas. And I'm going to first of all congratulate Brooke French. She's been hired as our next principal at McFarland Middle School. Jennifer Perez, our next principal at Lutakaga Elementary, and Amy Kahn, our new principal at Wahitas Elementary. And so in that order, I'm going to ask if any of you would like to come up and say a few words. We'll start with you, Brooke, if you'd like to say something.
My name is Brooke French, and I am honored and very, 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 very excited to be the new Robert McFarland Middle School principal. I'd like to thank the school board and the committee and all the hard work that they did. The interviewing process is not an easy one, especially with the vision of moving forward and creating a new school culture and a new family of McFarland, and I'm very excited to be a part of that, and I thank you.
Thank you.
So fun to be here to say thank you. I am so excited to continue being a Lutakaga Lion, and I'm, like Brooke said, just so appreciative, so excited to get started. Been on cloud 9 for a bit, so I am looking forward to just encouraging our staff and moving forward with our dual language program, and thank you.
Thanks.
I am Amy Kahn, and I am excited to be part of the Othello School District as you move forward. I'm excited to be part of that progress, and I look forward to doing anything I can to support our students and our teaching staff as we move forward. Thank you very much.
And I'm sure you've been told that now you're officially referred to as a Wahetian, right?
A
Have they told you that?
Okay.
No one's told you that?
No, sir.
Pete. Okay. All right. Congratulations to all three of you. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll move on to the superintendent report. Gina is going to share some exciting information with us about the audit entrance conference, I believe.
Hello. Okay. Every year we have an entrance conference, and the auditors have requested April 4th, Tuesday, April 4th, either 10 or 10:30. They will send out an invite to all board members. It's not a requirement, but we usually have 1 or 2 board members that have come to the entrance conference where they basically review the scope of the audit that they'll be conducting for the 15-16 school year. So
no requirement on the entrance, but there is a requirement for the exit, right?
I'm not sure that there's a requirement in either one. They will always invite, and then it is up to the board as to the attendance and whether there's presence at the exit conference or not. There's always an audit report given to the board when we receive that from the state.
So what was the date of the entrance again?
April 4th, so next Tuesday, either 10 or 10:30. They typically last between 15 minutes and a half an hour, depending on how many questions there might be.
Stuart, you got that one? Good.
Yeah.
Maybe
the exit.
I'm not sure that I might be able to be there, Gina, but we don't have really any board members here to ask who can. So, yeah, the exit conference I've done, and that one I definitely see that there needs to be a board member or two at that one because that's where they're going to share their findings. But as far as the explanation in the entrance conference, I'll ask Juan to maybe take a poll of the rest of the board, and see if they can be there. And we'll let you know.
We'll just need, if there's going to be more than 2.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
encourage if there's only.
Yeah.
I'm sure that won't be an issue that we'll get too many.
And I'll include, I can include the engagement letter for the April 10th board meeting, which is basically the summary of what they'll be talking about in the entrance conference.
And if there is no board members, I'm sure you will just carry on without for that.
I will do
entrance
that.
conference. All right, thank you. Were we going to speak now about where the tennis courts will wait till there? I know in director discussions we had the tennis court issue, but if you want to share kind of where we're at with that now, that would be fine. Never mind then.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so I believe there were 2 different tennis court items, so I'm going to cover the one in relationship to the intent to partner with the city. So I've been in communication with the Public Works Department, and they have some quotes. They have some quotes to do the overlay for Kiwanis Park, and the school district has indicated a partnership up to 50% of the costs with a ceiling of $20,000 per our prior conversations. And they've already started the work. The city has taken the fencing down and done some pre-work on the courts. And as soon as the batch plants are open, the pavement will be laid. And then there's about a 6-week time frame from when the pavement's laid till the courts are done. So they'll be done this spring, early June. They won't be here for any
okay.
tennis
Yeah,
season.
I was hoping, but no, I was wondering how long after they pave it would be ready to be played on. But okay, well, it's good for the future for us, but the weather was not going to allow anything to happen this year for sure. Okay. And then
So the second item was, at the last board meeting, when I gave an update, it was an update on there's nothing that's gone out to bid. The project scope, per the board's request of Architects West going back out or putting together the documents, and the bid that will go out if we continue to proceed would be for 4 tennis courts with an alternate of 2, and then also an alternate of a concession building for that area. So nothing's gone out to bid. The timeline is they're working on that with a projection of going out late April, early May, with bid openings late May, and then the project should be done this summer. So that's the proposed timeline. And I was also asked to check into our neighboring district and what they did. So I talked to Greg Taylor, superintendent of Connell today. I don't have all the information, but the 6 courts that were done through they were done in 1996. They have 3 brand new courts that were completely paid by the district last year. The other 6 courts were done completely through donations and a process that was 100% facilitated by community members, like a booster club type thing. So those were done in 1996. I don't have who to contact yet or what that looked like, but I can find that out.
So right now, Architects West is working on the details of the scope so that they can put together the bid documents, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Okay. All right. So now we can move on to director discussions. And our first report is me, the legislative report. So really just 2, I guess 3 now, primary items. At the last board meeting, I shared that the levee cliff, the extending the levee cliff was passed by both the House and the Senate, but had not yet been signed by the governor. That has now been signed by the governor. So that is official. The extension of the levee cliff to 2019. The newest stuff that happened this last week was the Senate did come out with their budget proposal. And then I guess I was talking to Gene earlier, and today the House came out with theirs. So now they will fight for the next month or so about who's it better and hopefully come to an agreement. But other than those 2 things, there really are just bills that are being discussed. A couple bills that are being discussed are to do away with some of these assessments for graduation requirements, but how much traction they have, I don't know. But other than that, I could just talk about bills that are being talked about, and we could spend a lot of time, but I'd rather not. So if you're okay with that, yep, we'll move on. All right. Student representative report. We have no student representatives here tonight, so no report there. A reminder, I don't think you were here at the last board meeting when Juan had asked, or President Garza had asked that we come to him by next board meeting with any agenda items for our board retreat. And a reminder that the board retreat will be the first weekend in May, correct? Okay. All right. Also another reminder, it's time again for the F1, right? The PDC disclosure.
I've got 4 emails now.
Okay. All right. And then the last item on here is discussions about the tennis courts. So I think that what prompted me asking to have this on the agenda was I was at Southridge this weekend at a volleyball tournament, and I saw they have 8 courts that are just very simply laid out and pretty much in a big square. And so I started, because there's a lot of downtime at volleyball tournaments, I started doing measurements. And as I was looking at that, it just seemed like a very simple layout. They were nice looking courts. And I just thought, are we doing our job as a board to make sure we're being very clear about what we would like the scope to be? I know when we talked about grass for the football field, until we kind of really made it very clear about what we wanted, the prices were high, but then the prices came down once we had more clarity there. So I was kind of feeling like maybe we need to make sure we're doing the same thing when it comes to the tennis courts. But one of the things that occurred to me too, as I was thinking about it, was, and I started asking some questions, was do we know how often we use lights, for instance? Like the lights, I remember, were a pretty big part of the bid, and we may need lights. I don't know if we do or we do not. And right now we might use lights, but only because we only have 4 courts to play on. Maybe it extends the day when there's matches. Or so I just thought those are maybe some questions we need to look at. I believe we did not ask for lights to be an alternate. Is that correct, Gina? That was expected to be part of the bid, I would think. Oh, we did. Okay, good.
So we need to keep that probably as an alternate.
Okay. Even just simply, that's why I asked you if what you thought about looking at that site and seeing if maybe we could fit 4 courts, right together. Because it seems like when we got the bid before, there was 3 courts in one spot, 3 courts in another, 2 in another. That's just more fencing on all of them, and maybe we could simplify it. And it did seem like it would fit without having to maybe remove
Right.
electrical conduit, those kind of things.
So have we given the direction that we want it at the high school? At the old parking?
I do think that that was the direction that we had given before the original bid before. But we were definitely looking at 6 and 8 at
Right.
different times, and now we've reduced that scope to 4. So I don't know. I just felt like we needed to make sure we're being very clear about what we think the scope should be. And my personal opinion is we need to keep it simple, but absolutely meet our needs and make sure we're, architects like things to look pretty, so they're going to make things look really nice. And I appreciate that, but at the same time, we need to be thinking about tax dollars and the cost of this. So what are your thoughts?
No, I agree. And I think we need to have Architects West really look at that site and because we went and looked at it today and there's no reason why we can't fit those 4 courts in that area and keep the cost down to a minimum and still provide the facilities that our students need.
So I had actually spoke with the AD from Connell, and I had asked him about the courts that they had done there and what ended up happening in that community, which has with several of their athletic facilities, is their local farmers provided the equipment and the time to do a rough grading of the land. Now, he also said that was sloped so much that they took a bunch of dirt and sand from the elementary they just built, and he said they probably filled in 40 feet of dirt in order to level that. So it was like a 2-week, pretty major undertaking. But what that was donated. So when they asked for the bid, the scope was just from the rough grading on. So rough grading and then to pave it and fence it. I know we had talked in previous discussions in workshops that we might be able to get that kind of help from our community. And I know that I don't think we should ask our district necessarily to do any legwork on that. Maybe that's more up to us as a board. And if we can, then great. But also if it just creates more headaches, I get that too. I don't
Well,
know.
the other thing, Rob, if we talk to Architects West and say, look, this is the footprint we need, and so this is what we need leveled. If we need to remove any concrete, this is what we need to be removed. Then we can go out and maybe now we have something very specific to what we're asking our community to get to help support us, and then we can be a little more direct. And it's like instead of asking the community, hey, can you help us? It's like, hey, this is what we're doing. Can you help us do this particular item?
It's a specific thing. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So the number that this, the AD had told me, he said that they did 3 courts and the cost was $140,000. Now it's significantly less than what we were looking at, but we also had some other options in there.
Right.
So I would just be interested in seeing what we can make it to, also some community input, and it's a little bit of a project from them too. That would be great. I don't know if it's feasible or not, but also Gina, we had some different options for surfaces too. Will that be bid out as options again as well? The type of surface?
One was concrete, one was asphalt.
Yeah. Okay. Also,
To tell you
maybe
the truth, I think my opinion, the concrete was so much higher. I'm not even sure if we need.
I remember that option was huge. Yeah. So normally in the past, these documents were drawn up and it went right to bid. We didn't see necessarily what the documents said. Would it be out of the ordinary for us as a board to say, could we see the documents before they're finalized?
We could definitely see them.
Because we may look at those and see some additional ways we could cut some costs.
Right.
Okay. Good. Can we request that, Gina?
The other thing, we need to make sure that Architects West knows that there's water out to that site already. I mean, one time they figured trenching water from, I don't know where it was coming from, but we have water right there.
Has somebody with Architects West visited that site specifically to see what services are there and what would need to be moved? And
At the high school?
are they
Yes.
just looking at it from a satellite
No,
view?
they came to the physical site and did a,
So if they've seen it, then they should know what those things. But those are all questions. I guess when we get a rough or copy of what their documents are, then maybe we can invite Ed to come to the meeting and we can ask our questions then.
Right.
Okay.
That's a great idea.
Am I missing anything on that?
So maybe maybe at the next board meeting, I don't know,
He can maybe say where he's at with it.
maybe.
Could we request that maybe?
yes, we can request that. If not at the 10th, the 24th.
Right.
And then we'd still have plenty of a timeline to get them done this summer.
Okay. Any other discussion items maybe that are on here that you are missing? Okay, so we will move on to item, D1 through 5. Since we do not have a quorum, we will have to table all those items till our next meeting. Kind of like last time, I think we talked about having them both in the SurveyMonkey or in the assurance of organizational performance and in policy reviews, so we can do them both. Okay. And then we're moving on to policy review. There are no items tonight for policy review. There is no need for executive session tonight, correct? And so we'll move right into item G1, announcements. We have one announcement, and that is that there's board docs training March 29th at 12 o'clock. So that's this Wednesday at noon. Did we talk about how long that would be? An hour. Okay, perfect. So 12 to 1 this Wednesday.
All the board members will be back?
Yes, the board members will be back. I don't know if Tony will be back or not. But did you send that invitation by email? Okay, I thought so. So was that the one where it was sent to the board? And when I went to respond, it would not let me because I had to log in as board at Othello Schools. And so I think you might have to send that to each individual board member to get a response. And now we'll move on to is there any other announcements? Item G2, board assessment of meeting, and that would be yours.
I think I can. So this one.
That'll make it bigger so you can see it.
Okay, date of meeting is 3/27. Wow. Okay, the agenda was, this is general meeting behavior. Number one, the agenda was well planned to focus on the real work of the board. I'll say good. Number two, the board followed its agenda and did not get sidetracked, commendable. The board's deliberations and decision-making process were public, commendable. Participation was balanced, commendable. Members listened attentively, avoiding side conversations, commendable. Governance principles review. Board actions occur at the policy level rather than at the operational level. That's not applicable. The board reviews policy about each topic. Not applicable, I don't think. In writing additional policies, we did not write any additional policies. The board chair helps keep them efficiently conduct its meeting. Yes. The board supports the superintendent in any reasonable interpretation. There was no reasonable interpretations today. You would send back to Sandra for me.
Okay, there was one announcement that I forgot to mention. There, we have a conflict now. We had scheduled a board workshop, a budget workshop for April 11th, and it's conflict with the next facility meeting.
Oh.
How long was that meeting planned to be, Gina? Did you say originally?
It's like 30 to 45 minutes.
So that was 6 till. So this question: is there any reason we can't do them both, or can't do it? And then, as a board member, I would like to do the facility meeting, but I don't necessarily need to be there for the whole thing. Maybe the board would still be okay with it, or is it that Dr. Hurst needs to be there?
Well, this facility meeting is one that I'm pretty involved in, so I would rather not do two big things at one time. Yeah. And I can't really attach it to the board meeting on the 24th because I'll be traveling back from California that day. So I've thrown out a couple dates. We can do it. We can schedule it at the next board meeting for sometime in April. We just need to get it off your April
I think
count,
that, yeah,
11th.
definitely we'll get that off there, but I had suggested to Sandra that maybe we just, she emails a few options and then the board can
Okay.
respond via email. Because right now we're not gonna get it accomplished without having the board members here.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. With, there being no other items, I believe, I'll accept a motion for adjournment because we can't vote on it, so I will just let you know that this meeting is adjourned.